The massive repair bay of Deep Space Station Delta 7 hummed with activity as Tom Walker wiped the sweat from his forehead. His weathered hands moved skillfully across the alien ship's strange metal surface, feeling for imperfections that even the most advanced scanners might miss. 20 years of fixing everything from Earth's old rust buckets to the most advanced alien vessels had taught him one thing: there's no replacement for human touch. "Sir, the Centaurian merchant ship is ready for departure," called out Mike, one of the younger engineers. He stood near a gleaming vessel that seemed to shimmer like liquid silver in the station's bright lights. Tom nodded without looking up from his work. "Make sure they understand the patch needs 3 days to fully bond. These Centaurian alloys get tricky if rushed." As Mike hurried away, Tom couldn't help but smile. When humans first joined the galactic community 50 years ago, everyone had laughed at their primitive repair techniques. Now, Deep Space Station Delta 7 had a waiting list 3 months long, with ships from across the galaxy hoping to get fixed by human engineers. The station's warning system suddenly blared to life, its deep tone echoing through the massive chamber. "Emergency arrival in Bay 12. All hands on deck. Repeat. Emergency arrival in Bay 12. Tom grabbed his toolkit and ran. The massive doors of Bay 12 were already opening, revealing the intimidating sight of a Galactic Federation battlecruiser. The ship was easily the size of 3 football fields, its dark hull decorated with the distinctive blue stripes of the Federation's elite fleet. But something was wrong. The mighty vessel limped into the bay, its engine pods pulsing with an unhealthy red glow. As the ship settled into its docking cradle, Tom could see the damage. Micrometeorite impacts had cascaded into a systemic failure, something that should have been impossible with the Federation's perfect shield technology. The ship's captain, a tall figure with iridescent scales, descended from the entry ramp looking distinctly unhappy. "This is highly irregular," the alien captain said, his translator making his words sound crisp and formal. "Our systems are beyond your technological understanding. We simply need emergency supplies to reach the Federation repair yards." Tom had heard this speech before. He pulled out his old-fashioned mechanical scanner, a device that had earned him countless confused looks from alien engineers. "With respect, Captain, your quantum core is destabilizing. You won't make it to the Federation yards." The captain's scales shifted color in what Tom recognized as surprise. "Impossible. Our diagnostics show no such issue." "That's because you're looking for big problems," Tom explained, walking around the ship's massive hull. "But it's the little things that kill you. See these stress patterns? Microfractures in your crystal matrix. Too small for your automated systems to detect, but they're spreading. Give it 12 hours, and your core containment will fail." The captain's scales now showed a pattern Tom hadn't seen before, probably the alien equivalent of going pale. The Federation prided itself on its perfect engineering. The idea that their systems could fail in such a basic way was more than just dangerous. It was embarrassing. "Can you fix it?" the captain asked, clearly struggling with the words. Tom ran his hand along the hull again, feeling the subtle vibrations that told him more than any scanner could. "Yes, but you'll have to trust our methods. They're not pretty, and they're not perfect, but they work." The captain looked at the busy repair bay, watching as humans and their alien apprentices worked on ships from a dozen different worlds. Some used advanced plasma welders alongside primitive-looking hand tools. Others had open panels that supposedly never needed maintenance, finding and fixing problems that perfect systems had missed. "Very well," the captain said finally. "Show me why they say humans are the best mechanics in the galaxy." Tom grinned and waved his team forward. Another day at Delta 7. Another chance to prove that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in building perfect machines, but in fixing broken ones. As his team began their work, more alien ships appeared on the station's long-range scanners, all hoping for a chance to experience the legendary human touch in engineering. The galaxy was learning what every human mechanic had always known. Nothing's unfixable, not if you have the right tools. the right knowledge, and most importantly, the stubbornness to keep trying until you find a solution. Tom stood in the station's observation deck, watching the stars while his mind drifted back to humanity's first contact 15 years ago. The memory was as clear as the space outside the reinforced windows. He had been working in an old shipyard in Houston back then, fixing up oil tankers, when the massive alien ship appeared in the sky. Unlike the sleek vessels he now repaired daily, that first ship had been damaged. Its hull scarred from what they later learned was an encounter with a space anomaly. The aliens, members of the Galactic Trade Council, had been shocked when humans offered to help repair their vessel. They had laughed at the primitive tools and basic materials the humans proposed to use. But they had no choice. Their ship couldn't reach the nearest alien repair facility. "Thinking about the old days?" asked Bill, the station's senior technician, interrupting Tom's thoughts. The older man's gray hair and weathered face showed the years he'd spent working with machines of all kinds. "Just remembering how they used to look at us," Tom replied, turning away from the window. "Like we were cavemen offering to fix a quantum computer with stone tools." Bill laughed, the sound echoing in the quiet observation deck. "And now look at us, 300 ships waiting in line for our primitive repairs." They walked together toward the main repair bay where the Federation battlecruiser waited. Along the way, they passed several alien engineers taking notes on tablets, studying human repair techniques with intense interest. "You know what our real advantage is," Bill said, stopping to pick up a simple wrench from a workbench. "This right here. Aliens never needed tools like this because their machines were supposedly perfect. They never learned to fix things because nothing was supposed to break." Tom nodded, remembering his grandfather's garage full of mismatched tools and spare parts. "Humans have been fixing broken things since we invented the wheel. We never had the luxury of perfect technology." In the repair bay, the Federation captain watched nervously as human engineers used a combination of alien technology and modified Earth tools to work on his ship's quantum core. The complex crystal matrix that powered the massive vessel had never been designed for repairs. The manufacturers had claimed it would function perfectly for centuries. "This is most irregular," the captain muttered, his scales shifting to show anxiety. "Our systems are meant to be replaced, not repaired." "That's the problem right there," Tom explained, pointing to a holographic display of the crystal structure. "Your civilization got so good at making perfect parts that you forgot how to fix imperfect ones. But out here in deep space, you can't always wait for a replacement." As if to prove his point, a young engineer named Jack walked by carrying a modified Earth mining laser. The device, originally designed to cut through rock, had been carefully adjusted to repair microscopic cracks in alien crystal matrices. It was exactly the kind of improvisation that made human engineers famous across the galaxy. "Watch this," Tom said, taking the laser from Jack. He made a few quick adjustments and began working on the crystal matrix. The captain's scales rippled with alarm as the primitive human device approached his ship's precious core. But under Tom's careful guidance, the laser began sealing the microscopic fractures, strengthening the crystal structure in a way its original manufacturers had never thought possible. The core's power output steadied, and warning lights across the ship's systems began turning from red to green. "Impossible," the captain whispered, watching the redouts. "The crystal matrix, it's actually stronger than before." Tom handed the laser back to Jack with a smile. "That's another human advantage, Captain. We don't believe in impossible. Where we come from, that just means nobody's figured out how to do it yet." Around them, the repair station hummed with activity. Humans and aliens worked side by side, combining advanced galactic technology with practical human innovation. It was a perfect example of why Earth's repair stations had become legendary, not because humans had the best technology, but because they had generations of experience turning broken things into working ones. As Tom returned to his work, he could hear the captain quietly sending a message to his superiors. Another convert to the growing belief across the galaxy: when something important breaks down, find the nearest human repair station. They might not be perfect, but they'll find a way to fix it. Red warning lights flashed across Deep Space Station Delta 7's repair bay as alarms blared through the speakers. The Federation battlecruiser's quantum core was becoming unstable again, but this time the problem was much worse. "Everyone clear the area," Tom shouted, watching the energy readings spike dangerously on his handheld scanner. The massive ship's power core pulsed with an angry purple glow that meant trouble. The Federation captain burst into the repair bay, followed by 3 alien engineers. Their scales were all flashing warning colors. "Our systems are failing completely," the captain announced. "The crystal matrix is collapsing. We need to abandon ship." Tom held up his hand. "Not yet. Give me 5 minutes." He turned to Jack, who was already grabbing their modified mining equipment. "Get the Earth crystal analysis kit. The old one we used on diamond mines." The alien engineers looked horrified. "You can't use mining equipment on a quantum core," one of them protested. "The energy readings are beyond your instrument's capabilities." But Tom wasn't listening. He had seen something in the readouts that reminded him of his days working in the Australian outback, where miners had to deal with crystal formations under extreme pressure. The quantum core's problem wasn't just about energy, it was about structure. "Bill, remember that cave-in at the Mars colony?" Tom called out while setting up the equipment. "The one where we had to stabilize the crystal support beams." The older engineer's eyes lit up with understanding. "Same principle here, just on a quantum level. The crystal matrix isn't just cracking, it's shifting under pressure." The Federation engineers watched in disbelief as the humans brought out what looked like primitive scanning equipment. But these tools had been modified with alien technology, creating devices that could do things neither culture had achieved alone. "Look here," Tom said, pointing to a 3-dimensional display of the crystal structure. "Your perfect matrix is actually too rigid. When these microscopic fractures appeared, the whole structure started fighting itself. We don't need to just repair the cracks. We need to help the crystal adapt." The captain's scales shifted to a color that showed both doubt and hope. "Adapt. But the matrix is designed to maintain perfect alignment." "That's the problem," Tom explained, working as he talked. "Nothing in nature is perfect. Even crystals need room to move, to adjust. Your engineers tried to force perfection, but that just made the whole system brittle." Using their modified tools, Tom's team began introducing carefully calculated imperfections into the crystal matrix. It went against everything the Federation engineers believed in, but they couldn't argue with the results. The power readings began to stabilize. "What you call flaws, we call flexibility," Bill explained to the amazed aliens. "It's like a skyscraper back on Earth. If you build it too rigid, it breaks in the wind. But give it just a little bit of sway, and it can stand up to anything." The purple glow from the quantum core gradually shifted to a healthy blue. Tom's modifications had worked. The crystal matrix was now stronger than ever, because it could adapt to stress instead of fighting against it. "I don't understand," one of the alien engineers admitted, studying the readings. "Our finest scientists spent centuries perfecting this design. How did you know this would work?" Tom smiled, remembering all the broken machines he'd fixed over the years. Sometimes the best solutions come from experience, not theory. Humans have been learning from our mistakes for thousands of years. That's given us a pretty good idea of how things break and how to fix them. The captain's scales had shifted to a color of deep respect. "The Federation Council needs to know about this. Your repair methods, they don't just fix our ships. They make them better." Around them, the repair bay was returning to normal operations. The crisis was over, but its impact would be felt across the galaxy. Word would spread about how human engineers had not only saved the Federation battlecruiser, but had improved its design. It was another chapter in humanity's growing reputation as the galaxy's greatest fixers. Tom already knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, new ships with new problems. But that was fine with him. After all, solving impossible problems was what humans did best. News of the Federation battlecruiser's repair spread faster than light through the galaxy's communication networks. Within days, Deep Space Station Delta 7's observation deck was crowded with alien engineers from 24 different species, all eager to watch the humans work. Tom tried to ignore the audience as he demonstrated the modified mining equipment to a group of new human repair technicians. "The trick isn't just fixing what's broken," he explained, showing them how to calibrate the tools. "It's understanding why it broke in the first place." The viewing area above the repair bay was packed. Some of the alien observers used hovering platforms to get better views, while others recorded every move the human engineers made. The Federation captain stood among them, his scales now showing the deep blue of respect and interest. "But surely there must be some secret to your methods," an alien engineer called down from the observation deck. His crystalline body sparkled as he moved. "Some advanced technology you're not sharing." Tom laughed and held up his old wrench. "This is our advanced technology. Well, this and about 10,000 years of breaking things and figuring out how to fix them." Bill walked into the repair bay, followed by a group of alien apprentices. The sight would have been impossible just a few weeks ago. Prestigious alien engineers asking humans to teach them. But after the quantum core repair, everything had changed. "Today's lesson," Bill announced, "is about something we humans call preventive maintenance. Instead of waiting for things to break, we're going to learn how to spot problems before they happen." The alien apprentices looked confused. One of them, a tall being with flowing tendrils for arms, spoke up. "But our systems are designed to be perfect. They should not require maintenance." "Nothing's perfect," Tom said, joining the lesson. "And trying to be perfect just makes things worse. Watch this." He activated a holographic display showing the Federation ship's modified crystal matrix. "See how it flows now? That's because we gave it room to adapt. Perfect alignment would have torn it apart." As they worked, Tom explained how humans had learned these lessons the hard way. Every broken engine, every failed repair, every mistake had taught them something new. The aliens began to understand that humanity's greatest advantage wasn't their technology. It was their experience with failure. "In human history," Tom continued, "we never had the option of perfect technology. We had to work with what we had, fix what we could, and learn from what we couldn't. That's why we see possibilities where you see problems." The Federation captain nodded from his observation post. "This is why we need human repair stations. Your people don't just fix our ships, you improve them. You make them more resilient." As if to prove his point, a new ship arrived at the station. It was an alien vessel, but Tom could see human influence in its design. The maintenance panels were easier to access, the systems were built to be repaired rather than replaced, and there were even some old-fashioned manual backups. "Look at that," Bill said proudly. "They're finally learning. That ship was built to be fixed, not just to be perfect." The alien apprentices gathered around, asking questions about the new design. Tom noticed they were starting to think like human engineers, looking for potential problems, thinking about repairs before they were needed, understanding that perfection wasn't as important as reliability. In the weeks since the quantum core repair, Deep Space Station Delta 7 had become more than just a repair station. It was becoming a school, a place where the galaxy's best engineers came to learn the human way of fixing things. Some alien engineers still struggled with the idea that imperfection could be beneficial, but the results were hard to argue with. Tom watched as his human team worked alongside their alien apprentices, sharing centuries of human engineering experience. Together, they were creating something new, a way of building and maintaining ships that combined alien advanced technology with human practical wisdom. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was perfectly fine with him. The emergency alert sounded different this time. It wasn't the usual warning of an incoming damaged ship. It was the deep, pulsing tone that meant something far worse was coming. Tom rushed to the station's control room, where Captain Reed, The station commander was staring at a holographic display with concern. The image showed hundreds of ships heading toward Deep Space Station Delta 7. Refugee fleet, Reed explained before Tom could ask. There was some kind of disaster in the Spiral Arm sector. These people have been running their ships at full power for days, trying to escape. Most of their vessels are about to fail. Bill joined them, looking at the display. How many ships? 342. Reed answered. And more coming. We've got less than 2 hours before the first wave arrives. Tom's mind raced. The station usually handled maybe 20 ships at a time. 300 damaged vessels would be impossible, unless they tried something new. We need to change how we work, Tom said. An idea forming. Bill, remember how we handled the Houston floods back on Earth? When we had to fix hundreds of water pumps at once. Bill's eyes lit up. Assembly line repairs. We teach people the basics and have them work on similar problems together. Tom turned to the station's intercom. Attention all repair crews and alien apprentices. This is Tom Walker. We have a crisis coming, and we're going to handle it the human way, by working together and adapting to the situation. Within minutes, the massive repair bay was transforming. The human engineers organized their alien apprentices into teams, each focusing on specific types of repairs. They set up diagnostic stations, repair zones, and supply lines like an old Earth factory. Your teams here will handle engine cooling systems. Tom instructed a group of crystal-bodied alien engineers. You've learned our techniques. Now you'll teach others as they arrive. The Federation captain, who had stayed to learn more about human repairs, stepped forward. My ship's crew will help. We've seen how humans work. Perhaps we can assist in teaching others. Just as they finished preparing, the first refugee ships began arriving. They were in terrible shape, engines overheated, hulls cracking, life support systems failing. But the station was ready. The combined human and alien repair teams worked like a well-oiled machine. As each ship arrived, it was quickly diagnosed and directed to the appropriate repair zone. The alien apprentices, now teachers themselves, helped the refugee crews understand what was happening to their vessels. See, like this, a human engineer named Jack showed a group of refugee engineers. Your ship's power systems aren't broken. They're just stressed. We can fix that with these modified tools we developed. Tom moved from station to station, helping where needed, solving unusual problems, and keeping everyone organized. He watched with pride as alien engineers used human techniques, combining them with their own advanced technology in ways nobody had tried before. It's working better than we hoped, Bill said, joining Tom near a row of ships being repaired. They're not just fixing ships, they're improving them. Adding maintenance access points, installing manual backups. The refugee ships that left the station were stronger than when they arrived. The crews had learned not just how to repair their vessels, but how to maintain them properly. Human innovation was spreading through necessity, saving lives in the process. Hour after hour, more ships arrived, but instead of becoming overwhelmed, the station's teams grew more efficient. Alien engineers who arrived seeking help ended up staying to assist others, learning human repair methods by necessity and choice. As Tom watched the organized chaos of the repair bay, he realized something important. This crisis was teaching the galaxy more than just repair techniques. It was showing them the true human advantage, the ability to work together, adapt to impossible situations, and find solutions nobody had thought possible. The reputation of human repair stations had been built on technical skill. But now, facing their greatest challenge, they were showing the galaxy something even more valuable: the human spirit of innovation and cooperation in the face of crisis. 2 weeks after the refugee crisis, Tom stood in his dress uniform before the Galactic Federation Council. The massive chamber was filled with representatives from hundreds of alien species, all gathered to discuss humanity's contribution to galactic civilization. The Federation president, a tall being of pure energy contained in a crystalline form, spoke first. Engineer Thomas Walker, Your actions during the recent crisis have forced us to reconsider many things we thought we knew about technological advancement. Tom shifted uncomfortably in his formal clothes, much preferring his oil-stained work uniform. Behind him sat Bill, Captain Reed, and representatives from Earth's government. The Federation captain whose ship they had first repaired was there too, his scales showing proud colors. The refugee crisis proved what some of us had already begun to suspect. The president continued. Human repair techniques are not primitive, they are essential. You have shown us that perfection is not as valuable as adaptability. Holograms appeared in the chamber, showing Deep Space Station Delta 7 during the crisis. Hundreds of ships being repaired simultaneously, human and alien engineers working side by side. New techniques being developed on the spot to handle unprecedented problems. We have reviewed the data. Another council member spoke up. Ships repaired using human methods are 47% less likely to suffer catastrophic failures. They require more regular maintenance, yes, but they are ultimately more reliable. The Federation captain stepped forward to speak. My own vessel is proof of this. The modifications made by the human engineers didn't just repair my ship, they improved it. We've implemented their suggested changes across our entire fleet. Tom looked at the faces around him. Crystalline beings, energy forms, scaled creatures, and dozens of other alien species. All of them were now looking at humans, not as primitive newcomers, but as valued teachers. Therefore, the president announced, the Federation Council has made two decisions. First, we are establishing a network of repair stations based on the human model. Each station will be staffed by both human and alien engineers, sharing knowledge and techniques. Approving murmurs filled the chamber. Tom saw Bill grinning. Their small repair station had started something that would change the entire galaxy. Second, the president continued, we are creating the Galactic Engineering Academy. It will be based on Earth, where students from all species can learn both advanced alien technology and human repair techniques. Engineer Walker, we would like you to help develop the curriculum. Tom stepped forward, remembering all the broken machines he'd fixed over the years, from his father's old truck to advanced alien starships. I'd be honored, he said simply, but I have one condition. The council chamber grew quiet. It wasn't common for humans to make demands of the Federation Council. The academy needs to be practical, not just theoretical, Tom explained. Students shouldn't just learn from books and simulations. They need to get their hands dirty, make mistakes, and learn from them, just like humans have been doing for thousands of years. The president's crystalline form glowed with approval. Agreed. Your practical experience is exactly why we need human teachers. As the ceremony continued, Tom thought about how far humanity had come. From being seen as primitive newcomers to becoming the galaxy's most respected repair experts. It wasn't their technology that had earned this recognition. It was their history of learning from failures, their creativity in solving problems, and their willingness to share what they knew. The chamber filled with applause as the president officially recognized Earth's repair stations as essential infrastructure for galactic trade and travel. But Tom was already thinking about the work ahead, teaching the galaxy that sometimes the best solutions come from experience, not perfection. Outside the council chamber, ships of all kinds orbited the Federation capital. Many showed signs of human influence in their design. Maintenance panels, manual backups, and systems built to be repaired rather than replaced. The galaxy was changing, one repair at a time, and humanity was leading the way. 5 years had passed since the refugee crisis, and Deep Space Station Delta 7 had grown beyond recognition. The original repair bay now served as just one small part of what had become the galaxy's premier engineering facility. Tom walked through the bustling main corridor, dodging groups of students from dozens of alien species. The station had been expanded to 4 times its original size, with new repair bays, teaching facilities, and research labs stretching for kilometers through space. Ready for your class, Professor Walker? Bill asked with a grin, falling into step beside him. The older engineer had refused to retire, saying teaching alien students kept him young. "Still feels strange being called professor," Tom admitted. They passed a large window overlooking the repair bays, where ships of all sizes waited their turn. Some were there for repairs, but many had come simply to have their crews trained in human maintenance techniques. In one bay, Tom spotted the Federation captain's old battlecruiser. It had become something of a legend, the first major alien vessel to be improved by human engineering. Now it served as a training ship, allowing students to study how human repair methods had enhanced its systems. "Look there," Bill pointed to a group of alien students working on an engine. "They're using the modified mining tools we developed during the crisis. Now it's standard equipment across the galaxy." The students were from different species, some crystalline, some energy-based, some looking almost human. But they all worked together with the easy familiarity that had become common in the station. They were using a mixture of advanced alien technology and simple human tools, combining the best of both worlds. Tom stopped to watch a practical lesson in progress. A human instructor was teaching alien engineers about something that would have seemed obvious on Earth: the importance of listening to an engine's sound. "Your sensors might tell you everything's perfect," the instructor was saying, "but your ears might tell you something's wrong. That's why we still use these." She held up an old-fashioned mechanical stethoscope, modified for use on alien machinery. In another area, alien teachers were sharing their advanced technical knowledge with human students. The exchange of ideas flowed both ways now, creating new techniques that neither culture could have developed alone. "Remember when they used to laugh at our primitive repair methods?" Bill asked as they continued walking. Tom nodded, reaching their destination: the station's newest addition, the Innovation Lab. Inside, teams of human and alien engineers worked on designing the next generation of spacecraft. The ships being developed here weren't just advanced. They were practical, built with maintenance and repair in mind. "Today's lesson is about failure," Tom announced to his waiting class. The room was packed with eager students from across the galaxy. "Not how to avoid it. That's impossible. We're going to learn how to understand it, prepare for it, and learn from it." He activated a holographic display showing the history of human engineering, from simple stone tools to modern spacecraft. Humans didn't become good at fixing things because we're smarter or more advanced. We got good at it because we had to. Every broken machine taught us something new. The students watched intently as Tom demonstrated how a simple problem could lead to an innovative solution. This was why they came to Delta 7, not just to learn repair techniques, but to understand the human way of thinking about technology. Outside the classroom window, a constant stream of ships arrived and departed. Some bore the marks of recent repairs, while others showed the influence of human design in their construction. Each one carried a piece of humanity's legacy across the stars. Deep Space Station Delta 7 had become more than just a repair station. It was a symbol of how different cultures could learn from each other, how ancient wisdom could improve modern technology, and how the galaxy's newest civilization had taught its oldest members a valuable lesson. Sometimes the best way forward is to learn from your mistakes. Tom smiled as he continued his lesson. The future of galactic engineering was being shaped right here, one repair at a time, and humanity's greatest contribution wasn't their technology. It was their experience with imperfection.